Alright, what is growing on? So, making another video with the old camera. Hope you guys enjoyed that farm update. I think you're going to see at least 2 more videos before that one. But today I'm at a project in Tampa, and when I pulled into this site I was like, where am I? To find 5 acres in Tampa off of MLK. I didn't even know this existed still. Really cool site, awesome clients to work with, and one of the first things I noticed when I pulled in here was road noise, highway in the back. They needed to do a lot of fence work here in the front. Actually, as we're talking, they're literally installing the fence up here. We're on day 4 of this project, almost wrapped up here. And first thing we started with before we even did the design here was a windbreak, but even more than a windbreak was soundscaping, trying to hide some of that road noise. I don't know if you can hear it. There's cars whipping by right now. It's about 3 o'clock. Traffic's gonna pick up obviously towards 4 or 5 o'clock. But before we even did the design, like I said, they were doing the fences, and I said, before we go and replace all the fences, let's put a living fence on this 705-foot stretch going all the way along the back of the property. So clients here have a front house, they've got a barn here in the back, really cool site. I mean, to see big giant oak trees. Probably gonna do our first food forest actually over here in this zone 1 area. Getting the Kubota out of here. Strapped, locked, loaded. Hey, just got done pounding some serious dirt, dude.
That's right.
Yep. Guys are getting cleaned up, getting down towards that end of the day. There was a banana here. A lot of big trees came down. They're actually over there grinding stumps as we speak. Big giant water oak that was kind of dying away. We'll see some of the debris here in the backyard, but what you're also going to see is kind of dilapidated fence. And you know, my first suggestion before you spend all that money on the fence, let's invest the money into bamboo. So these little pipes you see in the ground, we ran a main line all the way from the back of the house over there where the well is, all the way up to this back area. These little white pipes are kind of demarcating some stub outs, but what we ended up doing was 117 pieces of bamboo, 6 foot on center, 3 zones of irrigation, and getting you guys some cool drone footage. And it's not actually my footage. The client here has an advertising company. They've got some really cool film equipment, drones. He got me the overhead coverage, so shout out to Lance. Appreciate the footage, bud. But we cleared a little bit of debris down there in the corner, and you can see these are just a couple of sticks when they grow in. They don't look like much, but if we come back here in a couple of months, you know, this is going to be a wall, a complete wall of bamboo. Starting, obviously not completely established yet, and then within a couple of years, I mean, we are going to have the real effect where you're not going to hear that highway, you're not going to hear these cars going by. Guys, there is a lot of bad information out there, and there's a lot of hate on bamboo because of these running varieties. They've given bamboo just a really, really bad name. Just so you guys know, if you're watching this video, if you've never watched my channel before, we only plant clumping varieties of bamboo, and by clumping I mean we initially install it, maybe it has this little 3-gallon footprint, but by that 5th year it's going to hit that max footprint. Some varieties get 12 foot, some varieties get 10 foot, 8 foot. This variety we chose is called Graceful. This is textilis, gracilis, and this is going to max out at about 6 foot. And really, really clean, upright, you know, canes at the bottom here. I actually hear the drone, getting you some more of that drone footage right now. I did request drone footage here from the site, so I'll get you guys that. Like I said, I'm going to kind of overlay that into the beginning of the video so you can see what I ended up doing here. And you're going to notice, well, I don't know if you can notice, but I see a little berm along the front of the bed. Ended up coming through with the bobcat and the tiller, did a run along the fence with the sod cutter, but ran the entire bed with the tiller about 4 times. Took all of that material, kind of just put it into a berm in the front of the bed, and then we just thick mulched the entire bed. Probably used about 100 yards of hardwood mulch here, 120 pieces of bamboo, 3 yards of organic compost, probably 5 bags of fertilizer, 3 zones of irrigation. So like I said, a good 4-day job for the guys. But what we ended up doing was planting a living fence. You know, bamboo, one of the quickest growing crops in the world that is a grass. You know, there is nothing better for wind protection, for soundscaping, you know, even a building material. There's just so many uses for bamboo, and it's really sad to me that, you know, it's so demonized. You hear the word bamboo and most people get scared. I have to sit here and, you know, especially when I'm on consultations and I'm trying to tell a client that's the best thing to plant, I really almost have to like give them the full rundown on why to plant bamboo, why bamboo isn't bad. Please don't demonize it. You know, it's actually a really great crop. Some varieties are a little bit heavier feeders than others, but like this site probably gets a little bit wet in the rainy season. This is going to help suck some of that water out of there also. And like I said, you won't even know that bridge is there. You're not going to know there's really a highway there. Sure, there's going to be a little bit of noise, but a lot of that noise is going to be gone. We've got the spot spitters on now, once again using that microjet irrigation or maxi jet heads, micro irrigation, poly lines throughout all of these beds, and the guys are kind of just finishing up the final mulch spreading down there on that end. And this one's about a wrap. So if you don't like your neighbors, if you have road noise, if you live on the highway, I was just at a consultation the other day. It was right along that Suncoast Highway. Woo, we got the drone. I don't even need to get my drone out. I'm gonna steal all this footage. But like I was saying, if you have that unsightly thing you don't want to see, two-story house next to you, guy looking through the window, no matter what it may be, this is pretty cool. I don't usually get the drone while I have my camera going. You know, there's nothing better to plant quicker growing wise either. You know, you could plant 7-gallon bamboo. Sure, you could plant 15-gallon bamboo, 3-4 times the cost on the initial planting, but within a couple of years, you know, within a year and a half, this is going to be there. So right now, like I said, these are 3 or 4 canes. By midsummer, we'll probably have 12, 15 canes. Next year, we're going to have 30, 40 canes, and just like that, you know, before you know it, we'll have 200 canes through here. So bamboo, and right here, as you can see, this isn't running, so this is our last 40 pieces for that third zone. We did not have power out here, just like I do all my other jobs. 90% of the time we're using latching solenoids, 100 nodes for all of our irrigation needs. They work really, really well. I'll try to put some links in the description for those down below. People always ask me what you use for a timer, and they are a commercial grade timer. They work really, really well. In my opinion, you know, the batteries last like 2 years. You put 2 9-volts in there. You don't have to change them very often. They last a while. It does get a little bit more expensive when we're talking about the latching solenoids. That's typically even twice the cost of the valve itself. But that's just that one-time initial investment. And when we're in dry season like we are right now in Florida, we're not getting rain. We did actually get rain a couple of days ago, but it's very rare. It's very dry out. We typically don't get into our rainy season until almost June, mid-June down here. You know, irrigation is essential. So once we get into the rainy season, this could be shut off. And then once, you know, once that dry season comes again next year, we want to turn that back on. So it's really nice to have the water here in place. You know, who's going to want to come out here for a 720-foot stretch and water all these bamboos on a daily basis until they're established? Most people don't have that kind of time. So that's why we installed irrigation for many reasons. Like I said, for dry season, for time, and for establishment. If we really want to get these things growing good and coming along fast, and they're like a bomb, give them the water, give them the compost, give them the fertilizer, give them the stuff they need, and they will just take right off. So I'll be back here for another video once we get to the next phase on this property. Client here has awesome little shade area up there we're probably going to work with to create a little bit of a tropical zone underneath the canopy, and then some really cool long-term goals going on out here in this field. I'm not even going to talk about that until I know it's approved or know it's coming along, but there could be some really neat stuff happening here. You guys are going to have to stay tuned for that one. But I'm going to be quiet. Listen to those cars. You hear that? What we want to hear is the wisping of the wind going through the bamboo, the clanking of the canes of the bamboo, creating those noises we want to hear and not the car noises that we are hearing. So I am seeing a couple of spots where we've either got buried heads or we've got heads that haven't been installed yet. I think those probably got buried with with the mulching process. A couple of them still need to be adjusted. Like I said, some fine tuning. Got our valve box over here. Whenever we end a main line, we always like to put a hose bib there, stick a pole in, stick a strap on it. You don't want to just stick a pipe up out of the ground. That's never a good idea. You know, once you yank on the hose, you'll break the pipe. So always nice strapping it to something. If we had a pole on the fence, we probably would have strapped it right there. But it goes all the way down to that plastic fence in the corner. But 5 acres in Tampa with a 720-foot stretch of bamboo. Yeah, we got a little bamboo here. Talk about a living wall. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. I hope you're not scared of bamboo. Don't be scared to plant that stuff. If you haven't come to check out the nursery, come on down and see me. I'm usually there on Saturdays. I know I've said that in another video. Have another follow-up if you've got some exciting stuff that's been going down at the nursery. So stay tuned. Plant bamboo, pound dirt. It's 2025. Stay alive.